Greetings, thanks for tuning in today. My name is Dr. Jeanette De Witt. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I specialize in working with people with neck pain, jaw pain, migraines, headaches, and back pain. Anything spine or head related, I can help with that. But one of the first things that I do is I use this strong path movement matrix to figure out how many asymmetries that someone may have. Now, why is that important? Well, as I've practiced since 1998, I have discovered that the more asymmetries that somebody has in their body, meaning this side feels different than this side, or the front muscles feel different than the back muscles, the more asymmetries that somebody has, the more likely they are going to feel pain, discomfort, or they're just not going to move as efficiently and fluidly as they would like. In addition, they may struggle with feeling weak or not having as good of balance. So what I've created, based on some principles of total motion release by Tom DeLonzo Baker, I've created a strong path movement matrix. And it takes you through 12 movements that give me a lot of information, and more importantly, gives you a lot of information about how your body is functioning from one side compared to the other side, or from the front muscles compared to the back muscles. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to need is a chair without wheels on it. That is preferable. If you don't have a chair without wheels, you can use a chair with wheels, push up against a wall or a desk, just so that it doesn't move on you. But it's much safer to use a chair without wheels. The next thing that you need is a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, because you're going to write down your scores after each movement. So go ahead and stop this video if you need to and get those items. Okay, we are back, and what we're going to do is go through those 12 movements. As I call them out, you're going to do them and you're going to write them down. If you need to pause the video while you're writing, that's fine. I will be here. So the first movement is trunk flexion, or a forward trunk bend. So you're going to put your hands on your tops of your thighs, and you're going to inhale and then exhale and slide your hands down toward your toes. Okay, and then you're going to come back up. Now, if you could not do that, we are fact finding right now. We are collecting information. If that was easy, you were able to touch your toes, then that was, and you had no pain with it, that was a 0. So 0 is no problem at all, no pain. I could do that all day long. 10 is emergency room level pain. You cannot give it a 10 unless it is so painful that you feel like it's debilitating and you would need emergency help. So somewhere along there is going to be where you felt your symptoms and your quality of movement. If you don't have pain, but you can't reach down and you're, right to here or something like that, don't give yourself a 0, because you did not do the full range of motion. So you're going to write on your piece of paper, forward bend, and then you're going to give yourself a number from 0 to 10. The next movement is trunk extension, or a backward bend. And you're going to inhale and then exhale and come back up. So again, you're going to rate your 0 to 10, and you're going to write that down. So number 2 is the backward bend, and give yourself a score. The next several are going to be in seated. So you don't lean against the back of the chair. You're going to sit on the edge of the chair. And this one, you're going to cross your arms. This is seated lumbar rotation. And you're going to rotate one time to one side and come back, and then rotate to the opposite side and come back. This is number 3 on your paper. Write lumbar rotation and then give yourself a score. 0, no problem at all, no pain. 10, worst pain ever, or I can't do it. Okay, now we're going to do thoracic rotation. This is number 4, and we're going to do the same thing. And I'm a little bit tight here, which is not normal for me. Okay, but that tells me something too. So, and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to go to the other side, and that's much easier. And then I'm going to come back. So on your paper, you're going to write number 4, thoracic rotation, and give yourself a score. I didn't have a lot of pain with that. I just felt like I was stuck. So I would probably give myself a 3 on that range, on that particular movement. All right, the next one we're going to do is you're going to straighten your knee. You're going to have your heel touching the ground, and you can hold on to the chair for balance, or you can put your hands on your thighs, and you're going to come straight up. Okay, so you can do that one time. This is a seated leg raise, like that. And you don't have to do this, you're just doing one on each side, but I'm just going to do this from a side angle so that you can see. So my heel is on the floor. Do that one time, and do that one time. Okay? So you don't have to switch your chair. I just wanted to make sure that you could see what I was doing. So that is number 5, the seated leg raise, and you're going to give yourself a score. The next one is a tailor sit. So I'm also tight in this muscle and this movement today. So you're going to do one side and then 1 rep on the other side. Okay, again, you're right, that is number 6. So that is your tailor sit position, and you will give yourself a score. So for me, that was probably like a 4, because I was tight on both sides in my hips. Now, still sitting on the edge of my chair, I'm going to do a shoulder flexion or arm raise and compare it to the other side. Now I have a little pain in that one. So I would give myself a 2 on the left for that. For you, 0, no problem at all, no pain. And then 10 is worst pain ever, or I can't do it. So like if you're like, I can't raise my arm, then that would be, I can't do it, and that would be a 10. All right, the next one is out to the side. And we just rate that. Okay, so this is number 8. Shoulder abduction, or a seated sidearm raise. Whatever is easiest for you to put on your paper. It's going to be number 8, a seated side arm raise, and 0 to 10. Then we're going to pat ourselves on the back and raise the arm up like that. And then the other side, pat ourselves on the back and raise the arm up. So you can call it pat on the back for number 9 and rate that 0 to 10. Okay, the next one here, I'm going to turn my chair around just so you can see. This is what we call a scratch test. And you're going to put one hand here and one hand like this. You're just trying to touch your fingers. And then you come back. And then this side I won't be able to do. I'm not as good on that side. But that's what we're finding. We're finding asymmetries. So rate yourself on that, 0 to 10. And you can call that the scratch test. That would be number 10. Number 11 is a standing exercise. We'll move our chair out of the way. And you can keep it near you in case you need it for balance. But we're going to do a knee excursion exercise. So if you need to hold on for something, you can't give yourself a 0. So we do 1 time, and then we do 1 time. Okay, and I'll do a side view just so you can see. You're just tapping your heel down. So you can do knee excursion for number 11, or the heel tap exercise. The leg that you are testing is the standing leg, not the heel tap leg. So when you give yourself a score, score the standing leg. All right, the next exercise. First thing is you should be able to stand up without holding on to an armrest. If you cannot do that, then on the 12th exercise, it is a single leg sit to stand. So if you require with both legs armrest or your hands to push up or your hands on your thighs to push up, then you would give yourself a 10 on the left and the right for this, because I don't want you to test the single sit to stand unless you can stand up out of a chair with both legs without using your hands. All right, so the single leg sit to stand is coming up on one leg, and it is a balance challenge as well as a strength challenge, like that. So you do one on each side. Now you can see it's a challenging exercise, which is why we do it the last exercise of the movements, and it requires a lot of stability and balance and strength. So that's why if you struggle with getting up and down on both legs, you do not need to test the single leg. Go ahead and write your score. So 0 is no problem at all. No loss of balance, no pain, no problem at all. And 10 is I can't do it, unable, or it's too painful to try. All right, there you have it. We have 12 movements, and these movements give me a lot of information. They give you a lot of information. So I actually learned some things about myself teaching you this video, because I learned that I had some asymmetries that I'm going to have to go fix. And when you complete this movement matrix, what I want you to do is text me. There'll be instructions below this video on what your steps are, but you can text me a copy of your paper. So take a picture of your paper with your numbers, add them all together, and the left and the right, and then the total score combined. So let me say that again. On your paper, you'll write the number total on the left side of the body, and the number total on the right side of the body. And then in your total score, you would add the trunk flexion score and the trunk extension score, the forward bend, the backward bend score, to your left and right scores. Okay, you can't put the first two movements into the left and right simply because there's no left and right. So I should see a total score, a left score, a right score, and a total score at the bottom of the paper. Then snap a picture of that and then just text it to me. If you are a current client of mine reviewing this video, then in our client portal, you will go ahead and send a picture of your score through the messaging system within the app. Okay, so for new people doing this, text me. For current clients, message me in the client portal system. All right, thank you so much, and I hope that we can figure this out together. After you text me that score, if you are a new person reaching out, I will give you feedback on what this score means, and then I'll probably ask you to schedule a clarity call just so we can talk about what those scores mean and what your next steps are, and to fixing any asymmetries that you have. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.